Join Cycling has a deep library of hundreds of workouts that you can choose from within your training plan. You can do them indoors or outdoors. Download Join Cycling through the link down below. You get 30 days free trial, no strings attached. The Vuelta, some are calling it the Queen Stage, although it doesn't have much high altitude from Villarcayo to Picon Blanco, a famous climb that we know from Vuelta a Burgos. But they didn't actually use it this year. It's 172 Ks, 5,000 meters of climbing, although the first 7 categorized climbs were not very difficult. No rampas in Humanas there, but the final climb is hard. 8 Ks, 9%. Would that mean everyone waited? Breakaway formation, Berrada is trying to get in the breakaway. Patrick Gamper and some of the Bora riders, Vlasov, Dens, weren't looking too good. Apparently a bit of sickness going around the team. Jay Vine jumping in the breakaway, going for KOM points. He's a couple of points behind Soler, but he jumps in the breakaway with him, who's wearing the KOM jersey. So EF don't get in, Quickstep don't get in. Big mistake, because you need satellite riders. And so basically those EFs and Quickstep stuffed up the whole stage, frankly. The first, Category 3, Vine goes for the points, and Soler doesn't, though. And he goes ahead of Soler by 2 points. The next one, I think at Category 2, Vine takes more points, Soler third. But then Soler starts attacking. They had a 6-minute gap. Bora didn't care about the stage. Ineos started to pace for Carlos Rodriguez, who was starting the day 7th in GC. But the gap started to tumble, and the breakaway was working well together, except for Marc Soler. So I don't know why he started attacking the breakaway. Like Berthet wanted to work so he could go deep into the stage to be a helpful satellite rider for Ben O'Connor. But Vine then takes maximum points when he gets across to Soler on the next climb, and he goes 6 points ahead. So Vine looked like completely focused on the KOM. Soler, I think, was going for the stage, although he inadvertently, by attacking all the time, now on a Category 1, which has 10 points available, he kept disrupting the flow of the group. Quickstep began to help, setting a pace for Mikel Landa, and it made sense, though, to keep Castrillo behind. He's won 2 stages for a reason. It didn't make sense, though, to attack here. Berthet's working. Vine's with him. They got the other guys on a pretty good gap. The peloton's at 3 minutes with 88 Ks left. It would make sense for these guys to just keep rolling turns, but Soler attacks again. So this looked to me like he was going for the KOM points, and indeed he takes the full 10 points. Vine takes 6, so now it's back down to a 2-point gap. This was probably the most exciting battle of the day, to be honest. The next Category 2, rinse and repeat. Soler goes again. Now the gap's sub 3 minutes with Mari van Servenant and co-pacing. But look, I think Sweeney on the left-hand side, or maybe Shaw for EF, they jump, but Carapaz is blocked. He wasn't on his wheel. This was where Carapaz was going to attack over the top. But again, attack where? It's not like the other day when they put time into Landa. They don't have a satellite rider ahead. So even if Carapaz had been on the wheel of his teammate, they weren't going to go anywhere. So that was why the breakaway formation today really was so important. And now Soler and Vine are level, 76 each. Soler has the tiebreaker for KOM because he's won the most categorized climbs, and so Vine's got to take one more point, and then the next climb, Soler starts to ride pacing all out for Vine, which I don't really know, like why did he attack in the first place with Berthet? The gap is now 1 minute to the peloton behind, and it's a 12k climb, and Landa launches, Catania's on his wheel, and there's a split. But Ben O'Connor, he's getting wise to it now. He's like, this isn't my problem. Roglic is way ahead of me on GC. Landa's way behind me on GC. Enric Mas, Richard Carapaz, this is a you problem. He doesn't accelerate or surge. He makes them close the gap, or his teammate close the gap for him, rather than sort of accelerating, which was really, really wise. And then it did come back together, but there's some notable absentees. Matthias Schkelmoser in the white jersey. Lipovic is up the road getting pulled super hard on 5% by Matteo Catania. Look, if he doesn't make it back over the top of this climb, he's in big, big trouble. Kuss, Rodriguez, gone. They would lose, or Rodriguez would lose like 4 or 5 minutes, and I think went down to 10th on GC. Sivakov tries to anticipate, though, when Catania stops. No one chases, so a good move from Sivakov. He gets a minute, not for free, because he had to do the huge effort. But now Jay Vine, he's been caught. He's got Sivakov taking KOM points ahead. It's a bonus sprint ahead. He's got to take a point. He's got to finish in the top 5 and must sprints because of the bonus seconds. Vine manages to come 4th, and actually takes 2 points to go ahead of Soler and secure the KOM jersey. So that was a pretty entertaining battle, an exciting battle in the stage today. Adria, he keeps control of Sivakov, and then Catania takes over when the gap went to 1:15 because Sivakov was a bit behind Landa on GC, so he controls him, and it's 50 seconds at the base of Picon Blanco. No long-range attacks, no raids. It does end up just being the GC group all together at the base, but for Rodriguez. And Adria does a fantastic job. He's been brilliant this week. I think he must have really struggled in the heat in week one, but he does the initial pull for Roglic. Vlasov and Martinez were both sick, and I think Martinez abandoned. And Roglic, he's just riding defensively. He seemed fine to me. He's not going all out for the stage win. He's accelerating in his own pace on the steep ramps. Dunbar takes advantage of that, with Bora not doing their strategy of yesterday, trying to light it up with just Lipovic setting more of a defensive pace. And then on the 18% gradients, Roglic does his own pace, which drops Ben O'Connor. But again, O'Connor doesn't overreact, and Carapaz is just in front of him. So we were thinking, okay, Enric Mas, if he goes on with it here, he'll go into second on GC. He only has to take, I think, 20 seconds, 25 seconds on O'Connor. But Carapaz wasn't looking like doing that at all. He needed to take a minute 20 probably with the TT. Dunbar goes past Sivakov. He's already won a stage, and Mas accelerates. Carapaz needs to go with him and relay with him with now O'Connor off the wheel, but Carapaz has dropped. See Roglic scooting around him, and Carapaz really couldn't relay. David Gaudu was probably in a little bit better shape, but paid for his aggressiveness. And Dunbar, what an attack timing from him. O'Connor coming back in the wheel of Felix Gol, who was there when he needed him most after, I think, being sick or having issues the last 10 days or so. But Eddie Dunbar holds on to win an uphill stage in the Vuelta after winning the sprint the other day. Mas only finishes, I think, about 14 seconds ahead of O'Connor, 7 ahead of Carapaz, and takes 4 bonies as well, but that's not enough. It's really small gaps, even though it was the hardest stage with a lot of fatigue compared to Moncalvillo. Much smaller gaps. Dunbar winning 7 seconds ahead of Marston, Roglic, Carapaz, Berrare, the big surprise result. O'Connor, Gaudu, Landa, Lipovic, Skjelmose are glued together, so Skjelmose is looking good for the white jersey. Here is what Dunbar had to say after the stage.
I said to a few people after the stage win last week that it was never a way I expected to win a Grand Tour stage. I always imagined winning on top of a climb, and whether it was from a breakaway or a GC group, and I just felt good that second part today, and I just backed myself in that climb and paced myself really well. I knew this climb from a few years ago. We did it in Burgos in 2020, and I knew there was parts where it was steep and it leveled out. It was a bit different to what it showed on the profile, so I just paced it. I rode the steep parts pretty hard, and I rode the flat bits really conservative, just to make sure I had enough left in the tank.
In terms of GC, actually no changes at all in the top 7 or 8, I don't think, except for Rodriguez moving from 7th to 10th. But the top 5 is the same. Roglic is going to win this Vuelta, his 4th with his brilliant TT tomorrow. O'Connor should defend 2nd as well. And so the top 4 is looking pretty similar. I think Skjelmose could leapfrog Gaudu into 5th. He's got a good TT, but we'll see. Hope you enjoy the video and see you with the recap tomorrow. Ciao.